believe it. We are in week 9. Got some surprise visits to report on today. We got some flip targets heating up. We got teams on the verge of making the playoffs. We got a lot to talk about today. I'm ready to break it down with the great Steve Wiltfong. But before we get into it, guys, if you've watched one of these Whiparound shows this season, then make sure you are subscribed because it is heating up. Recruiting season is here. This is why you are locked into this channel. Times like these, so make sure you guys are subscribed. Also, it's a great time to join Rivals today. Get 1 full year access to The Athletic, plus all the On3 national and fan site content as well. I will put a link in the description of this here video. All right, let's bring in Steve Wiltfong. And Steve, we're talking Vanderbilt because Nashville, yes, Nashville, Tennessee is the site of ESPN College Game Day this weekend. It's number 10 Vanderbilt. It's one of the most exciting stories of the season. They're hosting Missouri. And Pat McAfee isn't the only big name in Nashville this weekend. Number 1 quarterback Jared Curtis will make his second visit to Vanderbilt this week. Steve, what's been going on this week with number 1 quarterback Jared Curtis at Vandy?
Yeah, Josh, last night I reported that Jared Curtis was on Vanderbilt's campus watching practice with his head football coach, Jeff Brothers, and Vanderbilt using the excitement, the momentum of this outstanding historic season that they're having to try and attract Jared Curtis to stay home. They have a Heisman candidate quarterback, Diego Pavia, who went to Jared Curtis's game 2 weeks ago, high-fived him after a big play in the second quarter. Diego Pavia telling Jared Curtis about all the exciting things happening around Vandy football. He comes on campus. He sees for himself internally why they're having so much success. He attends practice, gets a chance to talk with the coaches. Now they're going to bring him back this weekend. ESPN College Game Day, the biggest home game maybe in Vanderbilt football history from just a pomp and circumstance standpoint. Yeah. Jared Curtis coming to campus to soak all of that in. Now, I talked to his agent, Peter Webb, and Peter Webb said, let's be clear, Jared is a Bulldog. He's enjoyed seeing Vanderbilt succeed because he thinks it's great for the city and he loves Diego. No question about it, but he's pumped to go to Georgia. He's pumped to be a Bulldog. That's a squad. Now, Jared Curtis is going to be back at Georgia for the Texas game next month. And while the camp is saying all the right things about how firm Jared is to the Georgia Bulldogs, I do think that Vanderbilt has a pulse in this recruitment. There's been good dialogue with offensive coordinator Coach Beck. Obviously, Diego Pavia, Clark Lee is involved. And I think as things move forward, you'll have talks about NIL. And I do think that Vanderbilt will be able to check the NIL box for Jared Curtis. And they'll continue to talk to him about his fit in the offense, opportunities on and off the field, certainly to play right away, among other things. And we'll see if it moves a needle. Vanderbilt's got to keep it rolling on the field. Jared Curtis has always loved Georgia. They were one of the first programs to recruit him. They beat out Oregon, among others, the first time around. His family loves Coach Smart, Coach Bobo, what Georgia has done historically as a football program, what they've done in the Kirby Smart era, the connections he's made there. But I do believe that Vanderbilt has a pulse. 2 visits this weekend, some strong dialogue behind the scenes, and we'll see if Vanderbilt can continue to make a move on Georgia. It's going to be hard to flip him from the Bulldogs, but Vanderbilt has a pulse right now.
Damn, that's crazy. I did not see the Pavia Curtis bromance happening in 2025 becoming a factor in recruiting. It's going to be fun to watch. We'll see, we'll see what he has to say coming out of this weekend. We'll see if Vandy wins, see how impressive it is. I mean, the other thing, though, with that relationship, I mean, Pavia is going to be gone. Do you think Pavia is just more being an ambassador to Jared Curtis in the Vanderbilt program? Obviously, they wouldn't be on the same roster together.
Well, I think it shows you that even in the transfer portal era, there is a lot of pride for your school and your logo, particularly at Vanderbilt with the culture that Clark Lee and this coaching staff has built. And Diego Pavia has built his name up nationally as a Commodore, leading them to a win over Alabama last year, having that program be competitive. And now this year, shooting for the college football playoff. There's a lot of pride in doing that at Vanderbilt. And he is someone that is going to be a major name for Vanderbilt football forever moving forward. And he wants someone to come in and help carry the torch, keep the program moving. And he recognizes it as his responsibility to help get the message out that this isn't the same Vanderbilt football that everyone is accustomed to. This is a program that is building to win, to compete for SEC championships and beyond. And you can only really go as far as the quarterback position can take you. And Jared Curtis is an elite player. His arm talent is second to none in this class. He is having a fantastic senior season. He is extremely tough. He is physical with the football. He can make every throw on the field, and he has continued to get better every year of high school. And he is someone that physically could step in and play right away anywhere as a true freshman. There is going to be an opening at the position at Vanderbilt following the season. And Diego Pavia would love to see Jared Curtis come into that room and help compete for it. And Vanderbilt is a program, like we talked about on the Recruit Reaction show on Saturday, they're starting to put some more resources behind Clark Lee and this coaching staff. And as there's job openings at Penn State and places like that, and Clark Lee is going to be a name that is coveted for any job opening in the country for the job that he is doing at Vanderbilt and for the type of man that he is. Vanderbilt, look, they get the hometown discount to a certain degree. That's where Clark Lee went to school. That's where he's from. That's where a bunch of family is. But he wants to win. He is uber competitive. He wants to take Vanderbilt to the mountaintop. But you have to show that you are giving him the resources to do that. They've bolstered up the facilities. What kind of NIL capital do you have to get a roster that's good enough to compete with the Alabamas and the Georgias annually in the SEC? And this Jared Curtis recruitment and what kind of backing you get to make a push for Jared Curtis will be telling for the type of resources that this football program has for years to come. And as I already said in this segment, I don't think that Vanderbilt would miss out on Jared Curtis from an NIL standpoint. His heart is at Georgia right now. He has loved the Bulldogs, sees it as a tremendous opportunity for his football career, Mike Bobo, Kirby Smart and company. But Vanderbilt, the kind of season that they're having, the excitement around the program, the relationships he has with players already on the team and in the community that are interested in Vanderbilt, they have a pulse here, and he's coming back for another weekend visit. And if they can beat Mizzou and if they can keep it rolling, we'll see what happens. They have the nation's number 8 scoring offense. It is an exciting brand of football. What Coach Beck has done to develop Diego Pavia would be exciting for any quarterback. And so we'll see how it continues to go. I think Vanderbilt has a pulse in this recruitment, but it is going to be tough to flip Jared Curtis from Georgia. But you just keep on trucking this week, get a win against Mizzou, and then hope to keep it rolling in the month of November and see what happens come the early signing period.
Just keep on anchoring down and see what happens. All right, what other flip targets will be in Nashville this weekend, Steve?
Let's talk game time. All of a sudden, the college and NFL seasons are approaching the postseason. And guess what? We need our tickets. And getting deals on last-minute tickets can be frustrating when all you want to do is be there for the moment your team runs out on the field. Well, thankfully, the Game Time app gives the advantage back to the fans. It's the hack for unlocking amazing ticket experiences, and it only takes a few simple clicks. The app is easy to use, and the Game Time guarantee means you can trust that you'll get 100% authentic tickets on time and at the best price. Plus, fees are always included, so what you see is what you pay. Also, one of the coolest features I've seen is the Game Time lowest price guarantee. It's where Game Time will credit you 100% of the difference to guarantee you're getting the lowest price if you find cheaper tickets elsewhere. So here's what we're going to do. Download the Game Time app. Use the promo code Wiltfong, WILTFONG, for $20 off your first purchase. Game Time, last minute tickets, lowest prices guaranteed. It is a fantastic recruiting weekend for Vanderbilt. They're going to have Penn State linebacker commit Elijah Littlejohn on campus. He was at Georgia last weekend. Vanderbilt finding themselves in some of these blue chip recruiting battles down the stretch with the way that they're playing, but they're also a roster full of identification wins from the transfer portal and the recruiting trail. Jeremy Garner is a defensive back committed to San Diego State right now out of Iowa Colony in Texas. He can really run, picked off 5 passes as a junior. He's a playmaker in the secondary. How about Josiah Teasley? He is a receiver committed to Virginia, averaging 20 yards per catch as a senior. Now, Josiah Teasley was keeping Penn State warm till the Nittany Lions had a coaching change. Vanderbilt's been in on him for a while. He is excited to be on campus this weekend. Another 2026 that Vanderbilt's making a run at is edge rusher Dane Bathurst. He's up here at Carmel High School in Indianapolis, near where I live. He is from Tampa Plant, where he played his first 3 years of high school, a place you're very familiar with, Josh. He's committed to Duke, was at Duke last weekend, but Vanderbilt has recently offered. They're getting him on campus this weekend. We'll see if that turns into an official visit down the road. But Bathurst is long. He is a relentless football player that can really get after the quarterback and make plays in the backfield. So those are some of the key flip targets that are on campus for Vanderbilt this weekend.
All right, Steve, wrap it up with what young top names are going to be on campus this weekend for Vanderbilt.
Yeah, these high school juniors are getting excited about Vanderbilt as well. Starts with the number 3 linebacker in the country, Amari Sanders. He's a local kid that Texas A&M is probably the leader for right now, but Vanderbilt battling 4-star receiver Jahide Brown. A lot of Alabama, Indiana buzz around him early. Vanderbilt will look to change that. In-state running back Kamani Williams from Memphis is a major target that was recently at Ole Miss. Rob Larson's a receiver from the West Coast. Tight end Tommy Douglas from the East Coast. So prospects coming in from coast to coast to watch Vanderbilt play Mizzou in a humongous home game. It's headlined by 5-star quarterback Jared Curtis, but there is a lot of talent on campus that could foundationally help this program play in these kind of games for years to come.
It'll be a fun time here in Nashville for that one. Vandy fans, Georgia fans, talk to us. What do you guys, I want your opinions on this. What do you guys make of this Jared Curtis news? Is it just he's supporting the local team, or do you think there's more to it? Let us know. Comment section below. All right, Steve, let's talk about the SEC showdown this Saturday in Norman, Oklahoma. Number 13, Oklahoma versus number 8, Ole Miss. Big official visitors on campus for this one. Who are they?
Penn State 4-star receiver commit Jasir Rogers takes his official visit this weekend. Alabama is a program that is very prominent down the stretch for Jasir Rogers. Nebraska is swinging for him as well, but it's Oklahoma's turn this weekend to make a move with the 4-star receiver currently committed to the Nittany Lions.
And there is going to be a host of top 2027 names on campus. Really important prospects here, Steve. Who is going to be in town?
Yeah, as we record the show right now, Brody Knowles out of South Lake Carroll, Texas, tells me he's going to be back on campus. Oklahoma is definitely one of his top schools. He's already been in for a game this year. They are certainly a program moving in the right direction for him. Rivals number 2 athlete Bodie Sparrow out of Utah is very excited to come to campus. Oklahoma offered him in early September. Programs like Tennessee have made a big impression on him early. Oklahoma looking to do the same. I already have the Sooners predicted for blue chip edge rusher Crew Jones, also from Utah. He's visiting this weekend. Coach Bates and Coach Chavis have done a great job recruiting him, talking to him regularly. So Crew Jones is someone that I wouldn't be surprised if he got into Oklahoma's class sooner rather than later. 4-star cornerback Dylan McGee from the Lone Star State, another one of the headliners expected in Norman this weekend.
All right, Steve, so many implications to this game. You got Oklahoma, Ole Miss, not only battling to stay in the top 10, battling for playoff spots, also Steve, did you know that Florida Gator fans are tuned into this? Like, I think there's going to be watch parties in Gainesville rooting for the Sooners here. They are hoping that Ole Miss does not make the playoffs because they want Lane Kiffin in Gainesville ASAP. So a lot of intrigue here. What's your prediction?
Well, I like Oklahoma to win at home here in this pivotal SEC ball game. We'll see what Ole Miss team shows up for this one amidst the rumors of Lane Kiffin in Florida right now. And do the Gators want Ole Miss to go 7-5? Do they want them to be 9-3 and just miss the playoffs, or 10-2 outside looking in? Are they so bought in on Coach Kiffin it doesn't matter?
No, as soon as they go to lose a game, they're going to be criticizing the way he used timeouts in the middle 8, and it's crazy. This is why we love college football. But you're taking Oklahoma. I think if the high-scoring Ole Miss team shows up, I like the Rebels in Norman. We'll see how it goes. You guys, let us know. What's your score prediction? Oklahoma versus Ole Miss. All right, Steve, let's talk a little LSU because the Aggies are coming to town this weekend, and so is Auburn five-star commitment safety Braylon Womack. He's had some comments about Auburn's offense. He kind of backed off those. He clarified those. He was not criticizing Auburn's offense, but he was kind of criticizing Auburn's offense. Well, he's been out to the Plains like 3 or 4 times this season. Now he's going to be at LSU. What do you make of Braylon Womack showing up in Death Valley this weekend?
Well, get in line to criticize Auburn's offense right now. Is it deuce night time on the Plains? Look, Billy Napier and the Gators kind of saved their job last year by getting some strong performances down the stretch from DJ Lagway, which would show the potential of the program moving forward that ultimately didn't come to fruition. Can Hugh Freeze get that kind of jolt from a deuce night? They got to go play an Arkansas team that is playing hard right now amidst their own coaching change and has shown that they can put points on the board. So Auburn's got a tough game on the road in Fayetteville, in my opinion, against an Arkansas team that has nothing to lose, while this Auburn coaching staff has everything to lose. Now, Braylon Womack is at LSU this weekend. That is a developing situation. He picked Auburn over Florida, Texas A&M, and Ohio State the first time around, but Alabama and Vanderbilt are a couple other programs that his dad mentioned to me this week that have been reaching out in the midst of Auburn not playing well. Now, this is a huge opportunity for LSU this weekend on the field. They're 5-2. Their college football playoff hopes are on life support, but if they can beat the number 3 ranked Aggies, that could be the momentum to propel them in an upcoming game against Alabama and beyond. And maybe they can get hot at the end of the season. I think we all think they have the talent to play at a high level and win every game on their schedule. They just have not shown the consistency on Saturdays to win at the highest level. Texas A&M, another opportunity at night in Death Valley. They're bringing in Braylon Womack for this game, and Braylon Womack will have not seen an environment like the one he's going to see at LSU for a night game against rival Texas A&M. And LSU, their tradition in the secondary, there's some things where you could say, all right, maybe LSU can make a move here, but right now they're just starting the run. They're just starting the move out the gate. You know, We'll see what kind of performance that they can have. They just hired Coach Bolden from Mississippi, who's got all the ties to the state, to the LSU recruiting staff. Now they have Braylon Womack, one of the top players in the state of Mississippi, coming to campus. And first it starts on the field. LSU's got to show that they're a program capable of competing at the highest level. And then we'll see how that impacts Braylon Womack moving forward.
All right, now Braylon Womack isn't the only Auburn commitment in the Bayou this weekend. Another safety commit for Auburn, Jalen Scott, is also there. Is he a priority for LSU? Inside Scoop fans, listen up. We got to talk Roback, and there's only one way to describe Roback. It's best fit, best feel. For those that aren't familiar with Roback, they are completely changing the game with their incredibly comfortable activewear. Now, Roback has released my favorite. It's their new licensed game day collection. Now, with novel polo designs and clean hoodie and a quarter zip design for some of your favorite schools, it is definitely worth checking out. Nobody else on the market is pairing these level of custom designs with this quality of activewear. Roback's everyday shorts or their Delta Performance pants are the perfect pairing as well. They're super comfortable. I have them. They have an elastic waistband, great fabric that is made to have the appearance of a nice-looking short, but also the comfortable feel for a day on the move. Roback has also been proudly leading the NIL charge, having signed partnerships with multiple college football stars past and present, and they're becoming the go-to brand for college athletes across this country. Now, here's what we're going to do. Use the code JOSH on Roback.com for a generous 20% off for all new customers through the end of this week. Now, it's spelled RHOBACK.com. That's 20% off all performance polos, shorts, and more with promo code JOSH.
Look, that's another one that's developing. Jalen Scott, a Rivals 300 recruit that gave an early commitment to Auburn. As far as I'm concerned, most of these early commitments in 2027 just say that that's the leader. Yeah. These processes will continue.
All right. Let's turn the page or flip the coin, whatever you want to talk about. LSU commitment, Havon Finney out of Los Angeles, California, has been looking around. There's other teams trying to flip him. We've talked a lot about Michigan on this channel. There's others. Is LSU going to be able to hold on to coveted corner Havon Finney?
Well, his relationship with Corey Raymond is second to none. The way LSU prioritized him as a prospect on and off the field meant a lot, and that's why they have him in the fold. Now games are being played, and schools continue to push, and NIL battles continue in the whole nine. But LSU has done all the right things in this recruitment. They just need to play well, continue to play at a high level. But Corey Raymond, his track record, LSU, the history, the DBU, they've been back to campus. A lot of love for LSU, but other schools are warm and have a pulse in that recruitment.
All right, we'll keep on watching those. Let's talk a little Indiana. The Hoosiers, they have an exciting atmosphere for a big noon kickoff this weekend. Starting the season 7-0, they take on a surprisingly hot UCLA team comes into Indiana this weekend. And the Hoosiers are still working on the final touches for 2026. Who will be on campus this weekend?
Yeah, LeVar Keys, receiver, committed to Penn State right now, but keeping a couple programs warm. Indiana and Maryland. He is very excited to get to campus. Told me he loves the winning culture over there. He loves the coaches, and they make him feel wanted. I know this is a young man that the Hoosiers would love to add to their 2026 recruiting class, and this is an offense that's been absolutely lighting it up right now. You have to like the way it's trending for Indiana with LeVar Keys. The UCLA game last year was kind of the jumping off point for the Curt Cignetti era, where people really started to believe in the Google me, I win. They went out to the Rose Bowl, went out to Pasadena, and absolutely boat raced this UCLA team in a game that had first-year coaches Curt Cignetti and Deshaun Foster. Foster's already out at UCLA. They got some momentum on the field, but they're 3 touchdown underdogs. I expect the Hoosiers to continue to keep it rolling on offense and in this game, and LeVar Keys to be impressed simultaneously.
All right. What other 2027 and 2028 names are you expecting to be at this game?
College football season is almost halfway over, and your team is making a push towards the playoff. The NFL season is really heating up, and you want to be in the stands to watch your favorite team play. Basketball season is upon us. It's still concert season, shows. The app that I use to buy my tickets is Game Time. Game Time app gives the advantage back to the fans. It's the hack for unlocking amazing ticket experiences, and it only takes a few simple clicks. The app is easy to use, and the Game Time guarantee means you can trust that you'll get 100% authentic tickets on time and at the best price. Plus, fees are always included, so what you see is what you pay. And that's why I use the Game Time app. It's super simple, and it makes the experience of buying seats a breeze. Also, one of the coolest features I've seen is the Game Time lowest price guarantee. It's where Game Time will credit you 100% of the difference to guarantee you're getting the lowest price if you find cheaper tickets elsewhere. So here's what we're going to do. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the promo code Wiltfong. That's Wiltfong, WILTFONG, for $20 off your first purchase. Game Time, last minute tickets, lowest prices guaranteed. Yeah, I do think there'll be another 2026 name we'll be talking about on the Recruit Reaction Show on Saturday, Josh. But in the meantime, 2027, Bolingbrook High running back TJ Lewis back for a second game was there for the win over Illinois. Indiana's already on him hard. Kellen Weimer, the number 4 interior offensive lineman in the country per Rivals in 2027, at Notre Dame last weekend, at Indiana this weekend. The Hoosiers getting him back on campus. They're one of the early front runners. Malik Moore from Fort Wayne Northside's a receiver Indiana offered back in the spring. They're one of the early favorites for the Hoosier State standout. Jalen Hill, a 4-star corner from California, he's expected at Indiana this weekend. And in 2028, the number 2 defensive lineman in the country, number 7 prospect overall, Kellen Hall from Louisville. Yeah. Recent visits to Notre Dame and Georgia. Louisville now expected back at Indiana. So the Hoosiers are recruiting against the nation's best for a lot of these guys. That's what happened. Number 2 team in the country. They are attracting the interest of some of the top prospects in the country that would love to keep it rolling for the Hoosiers for years to come.
All right, Indiana fans, let's hear it. Who is your most important target on the recruiting board? Let us know. Comment section below. Let's talk Oregon. The Ducks host Wisconsin, which means it should be an easy dub at home. Lopsided win is expected. But let's get it going. New prediction from you for Oregon to land a player at a position in need for the Ducks.
Yeah, Oregon's got the number 4 ranked recruiting class in the country per Rivals at this point in the season, but they're not done. And I like the way it continues to trend for Dan Lanning and company for Cherry Creek, Colorado linebacker Braylon Hodge. He is the number 172 prospect in the Rivals 300, number 9 linebacker, number 1 overall player in Colorado. Took an official visit out to Oregon for the Indiana game. The Ducks are battling Texas and Michigan for Braylon Hodge. And I think it's Oregon setting the pace. Dan Lanning, Tosh Lupoy, their track record of developing linebackers, where this Oregon program is at, defending Big Ten champs, competing for the college football playoff annually. They are the program setting the pace in this recruitment.
All right. When it comes to other 2026 targets, Oregon's still on. There's a few that come to my mind. Wide receiver Milan Paris, wide receiver Caden Dixon-Wyatt, who's an Ohio State commit, and cornerback Brandon Lockhart, a USC commit, among others. What's your opinion on Oregon's finish? What could it look like?
Well, I do think Oregon would like to add another wide receiver, Milan Paris and Caden Dixon-Wyatt, in regular conversation with the Oregon staff. Milan Paris from Ohio, same area as Ross Douglas, Oregon's wide receivers coach. Again, Oregon's offense, style of play. Milan Paris is definitely high on the Ducks. He's at Miami this weekend. Oklahoma is also in play for the former Iowa State commit, but Oregon is at the forefront of that recruitment. And Caden Dixon-Wyatt's committed to Ohio State, keeping Oregon warm. We'll see what happens with that recruitment. I do think after linebacker, one of the positions that Oregon would still love to add is interior defensive line. I think that is a position where they would also put some resources into recruiting that spot as they wrap up this recruiting class. I think in order of Oregon's priorities right now in the season from a roster standpoint is player retention, keeping the 2026 commits that are already committed in the fold, then adding to it. I like where they stand with Hodge. I think they go get another receiver. I think they go get another defensive lineman, and that could be a touted guy. Yeah. And so that is the finish. At least 3 more Ducks in 2026 before pen hits paper for the early signing period.
All right. And I also want to ask you about Anthony Tank Jones. We just want your opinion. You know, he's taken 2 visits to Miami. He's been a couple other places, been to Texas A&M. Anthony Tank Jones, a priority for Oregon, definitely at a major position in need on the edge. Can Oregon keep him?
Ben Otson once this year. Dan Lanning went out to see him this fall. I think Oregon is the heavy favorites to keep him in the fold. They've done a great job recruiting him. He wants to get back to Oregon this fall, but his own playoff schedule could be tough to navigate. Yeah. But I still think Oregon is the heavy favorite to sign Tank Jones, with Texas A&M, Miami trying to change that.